The heroes of our story seem to be in quite the pickle this time around. And by heroes of the story, I mean Percival, the Thieves Guild recruit. Adam, the former Fighters Guild recruit, now dead. And Steve, the elusive schemer. They were all very great warriors. Highest merits in their respective fields. And now their company gets a new addition from Bert the Bandari, who brings an unusual skill set to the party. Oh man, you gotta keep yourself in high spirits. This is how I do it. Let's go, dude. It seemed grim for our heroes, Percival and Bert, the only surviving members of the company. But for their dumb luck, a bolt of lightning struck the fortress guard, whose name we did not know. And that wasn't all. A huge giant-looking creature thrust its giant mace into the face of the Moonmoth Castellan, giving birth a free attack on the lane. And of course, Percival, as a brave Argonian is gonna go in as well. And it looks like the fortress guards have come back. And so have the Moonmoth Castellans. It's like we reversed time. Now our heroes are in a pinch, as you can hear from the music. Only thing left to do is to fiddle with the bottom of a door. Ah, a card to give to your opponent. Percival and Bert agreed to give the opponent a merchant's camel. And now there was nothing else left to do except put up the gates of madness. And a brave but young Varanus courier by the name of Lenatis. I bet that's a word. And because Bert and Percival were feeling a bit squeamish because of their dead enemies came back the turn after they'd been murdered by a lightning bolt and a giant, they decided to not engage and instead hid behind the new... Yeah, Veronica. Veronica is now dead. And so falls Bert, the Bandari opportunist. But by a crazy whim of luck, the hero of our story, Percival, is still well and alive. But for how long? He is not surprised to see the merchant's camel they gave to the opponent. He would surely have loved to be a companion of the camel, but as you can see by the expression on the camel's face, he's definitely not blending in with his new crew. And the enemies have gotten cocky because they're throwing cauldron keepers at our hero. Alright, I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to get a little bit attached to Percival over here because he's been surviving like a champion. So it looks like a palace conspirator by the name of Robert comes in and decides to just yeet out the gloom wraith that we just drew. And the reason we need Robert is because we are shackling all of our enemies, and Robert will be the sacrificial lamb to keep our hero, Percival, alive. And then we shall fiddle with the bottom of a door once again. Luckily, Berth was pregnant and gave birth before dying. Not canon, but I approve of it. Choose a card to give to your opponent. They can have bushwhack. Alright. New heroes join the fray. Palace Brawler by the name of Judith. And Robert's twin brother, Brian. Who decides to throw away a crafted ambusher on a whim. We will fabricate later. We used all of our turn making up stories. Now, with our enemy shackled, the new party of Percival, Judith, and Brian. I try to see what they can do. Well,
a grievous error. Nicely done.
what a unit! Percival could not believe his eyes, his reptilian eyes, when he saw himself. They had made a shadow duplicate of Percival the hero. And now it seems like nature itself is against our brave company. They have done some terrible things to this dog. And now that everything is unshackled once more, oh boy. What do we have here? Our heroes are contemplating on a battle plan. Meanwhile, a fabrication is being made. A fabrication of the highest order. A custom fabrication which can fly. Our brave heroes send our fabrication, which we are calling Project Leviathan. And Project Leviathan shoots and kills the flayed dog, relieving itself from its duties. And our heroes are still looking at quite a pickle here. But what is that? It's the twin brother of our fallen comrade. This one being called Stephen. And he's just going to be protecting our heroes as best he can. But we all know Stephen isn't a great hero, but he'll do what he can. I'm living for this narration, thank you. Now, our heroes face the greatest threat of all. A full board of creatures stronger than themselves. But what is this? Project Leviathan has been brainwashed by the evil masterminds. And Stephen is dead! Now we must put our faith in the new companions. Judith! Judith and Brian! Percival watches as his friend die, and he goes on trying to perfect the quest that he's been on for many turns now. Judith and Brian fell in the battle. But in a crazy fit of a maniacal genius, Judith and Brian did not go in vain, for they left behind them an abomination. It's Jubrian. The combination of Judith and Brian. A 15-15 flesh Atronak. And Percival knows he could take down the fortress guard if he so wished. But he remains loyal to Jubrian. and will stand his ground. No! Percival falls. Percival, the brave Argonian Thieves Guild recruit, who had fought for so many a turn, finally falls. And it's not over there. Jubrian is stolen by the very things Jubrian was created to destroy. Needless to say, our heroes have been brought down. It looks like the forces of evil are going to prevail. But it's not over yet. Because a hero still stands tall. And that hero is called Jebediah. Jebediah, the Veteran Oathman. And as you can see, he's holding a spear. And that is no spear, actually. In actuality, it's a javelin that he uses to strike down Jubrian. It brings him great pain, but he knows it must be done. Now, as we can see by the board state, the forces of evil keep summoning far greater threats than we could possibly imagine, with the Eclipse Baroness. And now they have finally started to engage upon the forces of good. We can see Percival's evil twin brother still alive and well. Obviously, the perverted evil masterminds want Percival's evil twin brother to deliver the final blow. This much we know. But for some reason, it looks like Percival's energy of good took down his evil twin brother, but will that be enough to save our heroes? No one knows. Actually, someone does know. And from the sky, when all hope seemed lost, Jebediah screamed out his battle cry of his people. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! And from the sky, his pet giant bat, Bob, came from the sky. And at that moment he knew he was not alone in this fight anymore. And Bob was carrying in his tiny feet the legendary Daedric Hammer Volendrung. With the legendary Daedric artifact, Bob was ready to strike down the enemies of his master. And so he did. And so he did. And then, Jebediah, a man of culture, hit the forces of darkness where it hurt. And then decided to take a little sip of some fine wine, which for some reason hurt the enemies greatly. And the forces of darkness are back on the move. They have the manpower to defeat the forces of good forever. But the question now lies in the prophecies. The prophecies could not come true, and the forces of good were defeated. And thus ends the story of our brave heroes. Percival, Jebediah, Judith, Brian, Stephen, Berth, Veronica. They were all great heroes, but now they're dead. I don't even know what the fuck that was, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what the fuck that was, but I enjoyed it.